Yeah, I mean, you want to know your opponent, but we still have a lot of focus on our game and making sure we're on the uptick on some parts and um, identifying their strengths, identifying some areas we got to attack, and then at the same time making sure we're cleaning up our own yard.
You've had a chance to see your guys now for a dozen games in the regular season. Are there any players that have stood out in your mind as guys that have kind of been above your expectations to start with, impressed you?
Well, I mean, you start with the returning group in Sam Morton and what he's brought to the table. I think as a leader, as a player, Souds has been outstanding. Just got to try to get him healthy. That would be a big piece. So I think those guys have carried the torch a little bit as far as returning guys. A couple of freshmen have done a really good job. You know, Evan Murs had a good go of things here. He's really maturing. I think there's a lot of his game that he's got instinctual. He's got some great instincts about what brings to the table. So he keeps growing. I think there's those moments, and just as a group, I think everybody's got improvements that have happened, and some other guys just have some small ones. We just got to keep after in personal habits.
Back on defense, too, you talk about Murr, and he's the guy that got player of the week a couple weeks ago, but Mason Wheeler's been on the top line all year long. What are the things that he does out there that kind of calms things down, or things that he does to make plays?
Yeah, his number one, he's got he's wearing a letter for a reason. As a sophomore, I think he's got a sturdy and a steady, and he's got a great presence about himself. There's no question what his daily effort and daily improvement, and he's after about winning every day, and you can see how that's impacted his game on a Friday, Saturday night. And I think on the other side is like he's got an ear that listens to the guys and helps because he's been through it a little bit. And at the same time, he's got an ear because he's trying to grow as a player himself, and he's taking strides that way.
Well, we already know you have a couple of capable goaltenders that can win you games on a given night, and a third goaltender as well who has some experience. So talk about the goaltending trio, the different personalities that they bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, Rance is back in the fold. I think that was a healthy showing for him, and just coming off of injury. That there's a lot that goes into not only your physical makeup, but your mental makeup. What you believe you can do, what you believe is capable of yourself to get back to the form that you feel you're in. So Rance, is the biggest of the three. Trace has given us an opportunity here early in the season. I think he's played some pretty good goal for us. At the same time, he's had some games where he wants back, and we've got to fix on those parts, I think, in front of all those goalies. And then Millsy's he's been an everyday competitor. He's a consummate teammate, mega character, extremely hardworking guy who's pushing the needle. He wants to get his crack at this too, and I think the three of them, they're definitely goalies. But at the same time, I think they're just kind of big time people. I love the way they support each other yet compete.
You signed 6 recruits. That was finally announced this week, something you've known about for a while. But are you excited about the recruits that you have coming in for next year as well?
Yeah, I think the timing of the NLIs when they arrive here, what their scenario is, how many growth patterns they take yet this year. Some you'll see, some you won't. I think there's the other side of that coin is we've got some flexibility probably in our lineup next year to keep after. When you get a job and you forecast and you see there's a lot of players that are gone, they're already taken, committed, that would probably be scheduled for next year. So we're definitely still in that hunt. When that portal comes around, I'm sure there's going to be some things done that way. But at the same time, our recruits continue to get better. We love to support them about where their process is in improving and trying to find their arrival time that makes sense for not only the program, but for their individual development, their individual growth.
Your opponent this week, Lake Superior State, has found some early season success as well in scouting their team a little bit early on here. What have you seen as far as what you think their strengths are?
Well, they're competitive. Their work ethic is very high end. I think they they've been timely about some things. I think some guys have stepped into big roles for them. They're going to get some volume at the net with some bigger bodies. A lot of the offensive play is directed and very pointed at the cage, whether it's pucks, bodies, with or without it. And then I think the other side is they've had a little backbone here. They just had a big weekend there on the road, and beating St. Thomas is a good on their side of things. I think they've got some balance with their lineup. We've just got to be able to attack. We want to be able to play after their group here and get on a road, and for us to play a road game that's hard to play against.
Yeah, and that road trip a bit longer this time, all the way up to the Sioux. What does the schedule look like for the rest of the week in terms of travel and making sure the guys are ready to go?
Weather forecast, I think that's a big piece, but no, we'll get out and we'll get up there and have a good skate on Thursday, get settled, make sure we're ready for Friday and Saturday. The guys come back home when we get back. It's finals week around here, so we want to make sure we've got enough academic mindfulness for where they're at in their academic setting, but at the same time have a business approach to go and attack 2 games.